Force just doesn't. Force has a few other endgame tools now with Beauty and the Beast and some other tools like that, but realistically, Roach is still the best way to go about doing it, and Roach needs a very defined metagame to work properly, so unless that's set, Force has a tough time.
Well, we have yet to see the Force matchup there, but some very good thoughts being traded here. Now we have Sizouney versus Shadowshadet, and we'll see how this plays out. Blood versus Sword. This is a matchup that Shadowshadet has already gone through. Talk to me about how you think this is going to play out, Aya.
Well, Sizouney is playing first, so however, he did miss his one drop, and that could make all the difference in this matchup. Shadowshadet has a decent curve. He's got the Fervor Soldier for next turn. He's got the Vagabond Frog for 3. I mean, he's pretty well positioned to do pretty well in this game as long as he can keep the damage low.
Yep, he's got to keep pushing damage. I feel like if you start trading your board, and as we see Shadowshadet not even trying to trade with these bats, if he starts trading his board away, especially going second, he's going to run into problems. So I feel like he's got the right mentality. Just go face. Just try to mess your opponent up, you know what I mean? Like he basically, like I said, got the onus on him because he got to play his one drop. So we'll see if he can continue pushing the damage.
Well, now, see, Shadowshadet's in a really bad spot because he can't break through this Vite.
Yes. Vite is the old aggro bat brick wall, and it generates a ton of value.
Yeah.
And again, we're seeing this Vagabond Frog just not being able to do anything, which is, I think, a problem with that card. And we've seen him have it every single game.
I don't necessarily understand the reasoning behind running Vagabond Frog in this style of list. I would probably go with something just a bit more aggressive, like an Angel of the Word, instead of this, because that at least can do damage to something, and especially since Bats is so popular right now, you know, I would think that, you know, having something to be able to snipe away those Bats without giving away tempo would be very important.
Mm-hmm. And again, just like these aggro matchups, like just the fact that Shadowshadet just cannot seem to find going first in these matches is just really hurting him. Just really hurting him.
And now, like, this is an example of the value of Angel of the Word. When it comes in, it shoots something for 1. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just shooting it. And now Sizouney has the board. He's got a 3/3 bat, a bunch. He got 2 2/2s and a 1/2. Currently in Shadowshadet's hand, he just doesn't have a way of dealing with all. Oh, well, that could help.
That could help, yes. Sizouney also has the Razor Claw to end the game with. So, and this is what we're talking about. These aggro decks like Shadowshadet's playing are not built to play from behind. They're not built to come back and then take over the board. They're built to push damage to the opponent's face and end the game. So when they're put into a position like this against another aggro deck, it's where you just see them fall apart. I don't really think there's a lot of things that an aggro deck like this can do to come back from a state like this. Like, even if he deals with the entire board this turn, how does he finish the game out with his opponent still being at 17, right?
Yeah, because being at 17 in an aggro matchup, oh my goodness. Well, let's just completely ignore what I was thinking and say that Big Knuckle Bodyguard coming down and he's going to clean house. Like, at this point, I don't know what Shadowshadet could do. He's really behind. Big Knuckle Bodyguard's going to trade into this Fervor Soldier. All he has in his hand right now is a Quick Blade Taji and that Centaur Vanguard, and then he draws a Ninja Trainee. Like, this is
Ninja Trainee, very threatening, much like a BKB or a Big Knuckle Bodyguard.
Yeah, this I don't know what he can do, man.
This is more just going through the motions. I'm going to play out my hand, and hopefully I can draw into something. But realistically, this is already over.
Yeah, Big Knuckle Bodyguard he's capable of making big swings, and then he's also capable of, swinging himself, and then he can steal tempo. He can. He's just such a great card.
One of the best new additions Blood got. Add a bronze slot, no less. You'll
That
definitely
card's
see Big
legendary.
Knuckle Bodyguard in Blood for a long time to come. Long time.
Yeah. Oh man, and just giving him more stuff to, it's like you're just replacing it. It's like, it feels awful.
Stop making bats.
Oh well. Oh, he's not dead.
I should have foreseen this.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, never mind.
Just
He is
giving it
dead.
up. Yep.
Yeah, there's no reason
Again,
to
it's
continue.
right. There's just nothing you can draw coming from the aggro sword player there to get you out of that position. So.
Sizouney takes the first game against Shadowshadet, and I really think there is maybe a hole in the deck building for Shadowshadet's Swordcraft deck. What do you think is the ideal situation here, Exodium, for Shadowshadet in this kind of scenario? What is he really playing for with this heavy kind of ambush style Swordcraft lineup?
So realistically, the reason why you see so much ambush and so many what you would think maybe two small minions or many small minions in the same deck is because what he's really trying to do is present a lot of damage and then be able to play his followers later and have them not be dealt with, essentially, so that he can continue to push damage. But as you see, it's been falling apart because he's been on the draw every single time or going second every single time. He doesn't really have any built-in mechanics to come back. Like we haven't seen any Floral Fencers. We haven't really seen any of the cards like Angel of the Word, like I was saying, that help you get back into it when you're going second. So if he's not on the play here, he's going to be in trouble every game is what it feels like.
We'll see. Oh my god.
Oh, man!
Oh, Sizouney is running the Enchanted Sword variant. Oh, he mulliganed into it.
Force?
Is he playing Conjuring Force?
Oh my gosh.
He's playing Conjuring Force.
All right,
Oh,
you guys.
please, Sizouney.
Tell us more about what you expect to see from Sizouney here.
So Sizouney
Alright,
might be playing one of my favorite decks of all time, which is he is. He's
playing Conjuring Force.
So he's playing a deck that basically tries to fill the board with cards like Summon Snow and Rhymewind, and then to end the game with cards like Enchanted Sword and Blade Mage with the amulet Conjuring Force. And Conjuring Force, I don't know if they can get it up on the image, but that's a 5 play point amulet that says whenever you cast a spell, all of your followers get +1/+0. So it's like an overrun type of effect that you just try to end the game with.
I'm so happy to see this, by the way.
So happy.
I'm a huge Conjuring Force fan as well, not as big as EXO, but anyway, going back to the game. So, we have Shadowshadet not looking too bad right now. He does have a little bit of a board. He's pushing the damage that he can. Sizouney does unfortunately have the answer for his board. So.
If any deck is anti-aggro, Conjuring Force is. Like, Rhymewind is one of the biggest game changers against an aggro deck that most decks don't have any way to deal with. Essentially, it changes tempo in a couple ways. One, it bounces the biggest follower the enemy has. 2, it fills up your entire board. And 3, it sets up your endgame to win with cards like we were previously mentioning, the Conjuring Force, Blade Mages, Enchanted Sword, and all that. Plus, it's just really hard to deal with. How do you kill all these snowmen?
Yeah, you spend so many resources trying to kill these snowmen, and then, you have none left to win the game. And unfortunately, in Shadowshadet's case of perpetually going second,
It's cursed.
It won't be long now.
And he's seen these Vagabond Frogs every single game. Like, we're literally just seeing his deck played the exact same way every single game. And I think that Shadowshadet, if nothing else from this tournament, will be able to walk away knowing exactly what he needs to do with his deck.
Yeah. And he's running the Daria list. Oh, man. This is just throwback to last format, man.
So to help kind of explain what this deck is trying to do beyond just the Snowmen and the Conjuring Force and all that, it plays out kind of like D-Shift, where it just tries to filter through its deck while also just having the added benefit of filling up the board. But it has also a reset mechanic in the fact that it also plays Daria. So it's kind of like a D-Shift/Daria endgame without actual D-Shift, just a lot of spells that filter. And then it plays Daria to basically, you unload your hand, play Daria to refill your hand, and then either win the game or just reset for a follow-up the next turn to win the game. And it basically means that Conjuring Force isn't necessary because you have so much damage that you can deal anyway.
So he's gonna basically just push as much damage as he can here, and I am wholehearted. And he drew the Conjuring Force, so I'm wholeheartedly in agreement with this line. Just push, push, push. At this point, there just isn't that much that Shadowshadet can do. Like he can possibly clear. Oh well. Yeah, I think you have to take this out. Like you have to clear this board, right? You can't ignore this.
See, this is the problem. If you're not familiar with playing against Conjuring Force, which I know Shadowshadet is because he's played in our tournaments before, but if you're not familiar with it, these snowmen seem very unassuming. You're at 11 health, he's only got 5 damage, maybe you want to clear one with an Evolve or something like that, but if you leave any of these snowmen in play, with a Conjuring Force, it could just get big enough to kill you outright. So you have to respect the snowmen.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, Shadowshadet looks like he's in a good position, right? He's got his opponent at 10. He's aggressive here. He's got the Alberts, but these snowmen.
It all ends here.
Yeah, yeah. These snowmen are. Yeah, you have to deal with them. You cannot ignore them, and he's not. He's making the right decision.
He knows.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm dead next turn. So he's just gonna go ahead and he's gonna just handle that right away.
But knowing what to do actually puts him in a very good position here. Actually clearing out the snowmen means that Sizouney's now on the back foot. So it's all about knowing your matchups. Because he knew what to do there, put himself in a position to win this game.
Yeah. I should mention that Sizouney has won one of our tournaments using this very deck. So, like, he certainly knows this deck pretty much in and out. And what it looks like here is he's just gonna continue, Okay.
I think he's got to play a little defense here.
You can't go face.
Unless he finds some kind of a lethal magically off of this. Not very
well,
likely.
he certainly didn't do that.
But again, we're in a position where if Shadowshadet cannot finish on his turn, he has to play defensively. So this is really just a board back and forth until somebody can present lethal. So this is actually pretty exciting. This is both players off the top, just trying to push for lethal on a single turn. This is fun.
Oh yeah. Now he can definitely, if he wants, and if he's feeling really lucky, he can try to push for damage, but nah, you can't. You have to trade. You have to. And it's like there's literally no other option other than trading here.
Yeah, and this is kind of an awkward position because that Daria is actually very hard to deal with what Shadowshadet has access to here. I mean, realistically, it's either white general into the Vagabond and then double trade, or an Albert plus.
Yeah. I mean, he can't even do Albert plus. He would have to do Albert plus and then ram both Alberts into Daria to take it out. And they would just lose both Alberts.
Right. And then he'd have to trade the Vagabond Frog into the Blade Mage.
I think what it looks like is he's going to leave the Daria, and he's going to take out the other two.
Yeah, that's the best way he can position himself to win this game. Because clearing both of your Alberts to kill a Daria says, I concede, pretty much.
Right.
7, 8. Not quite lethal.
No, not lethal. But, I mean, Sizouney can't leave this board up either. And he has plenty of options to deal with. Oh, maybe not plenty. He can... Well, no, yeah, he does. He can trade into the 3/3 Albert, pay Piercing Rune on the 3/2. And, yeah.
Yeah, basically what he's going to do here, I think he's going to trade, just like you said, Piercing Rune attack. He doesn't want to Rhyme Wind and Albert because we know that feels bad. Returning an Albert to your opponent's hand never feels good, especially going into turn 8, turn 9.
Right. Say, hey, man, this is how you can beat me. Here you go.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, this game is over. It's yet again Shadowshadet, unfortunately, stuck with second verse. Like he's just
second verse crushing Shadowshadet streams today. I feel bad, man.
Yeah, it does feel pretty bad. But unfortunately, rather fortunately, we get to see Conjuring Force.
That is true. Fortunately. Love me some Conjuring.
We get to see Conjuring Force. And that's pretty sweet. Well, he's not even going to do it. Okay.
You wouldn't.
And Angelic Snipe for the kill. Or Blade Mage.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, wow.
A little bit of BM thrown in there, Sizouney. A little bit of BM.
Sizouney went for the loop-de-loop, and he waited until the last possible play point to close out the game. But Sizouney, and again, man, just so many 2-0s today. Sizouney will move on to the next stage of the